What's up, Nation? Really appreciate you all. We're going to talk a little bit about Byron Jones. I know you guys been hearing me talking about that for a while now, as well as Blake Jarwin. Now, on one end, you can say one man's trash is another man's treasure. You know how that saying go, especially when you start talking about opposition to play, the opportunity to play. And that's just how it goes. There's been news and ramblings about the Broncos have a strong love affair for Byron Jones, and they would love to see him in their particular system. They're not looking for him to tackle. They're not looking for him to do the things that we wanted him to do as it relates to Cowboys football, but they're looking for position flex, meaning that they want to be able to get a cornerback that can play inside, to play, take away the tight end, as well as being able to stick the number one receiver. They may look at it from these angles and say, okay, we will have him to travel and carry across the field. And when you look at the Cowboys organization, on how we played Byron Jones, we can look at it and say that when you start to look at his collective body of work as it relates to last season, because the first corner was cool. Like the turnover, all of the film I can put up only one. That was I got around him. How you guys look at it, you will not find a lot of film of Byron Jones getting burned. Think about that though. Think about that. The guy didn't give up not one 30-yard play down the field. And if you can find it, post it down below. Show me that link. He did give up one touchdown, though. He did give up that touchdown against the Patriots. And one can argue and say if the Cowboys never allowed that guy to block that punt kick, then they wouldn't have scored. And then on top of that, if you go, I'm just going to talk about this right quick. A lot of people saying that, hey, we are an 8-8 team. We had all of the talent and these sort of things. I want people to go back and look at these probably 4 games. I want you to go back and watch the Saints game. That was a very winnable game. That was a game that we was really had the rug snatched from under us. And I'm not trying to sit there and say, well, these are excuses. But Ezekiel Elliott never fumbled the ball. And remember, football is a game of inches. We win that game if they don't call a crazy fumble on that play. And on top of that, we win that game if they allow the players to play, opposed to calling some bogus pass interference call. We win that game. Also, Dak Prescott was galvanizing and carving up the defense as it relates to throwing the ball against the Minnesota Vikings. I'm going to repeat, Dak Prescott was carving the Vikings team. That was the game that they had those sideline catches. Remember that? He was carving them up. Ezekiel Elliott couldn't run the ball. He couldn't get those short area runs. And what I'm just trying to paint a picture for you all and stop listening in to the narrative that we never win against a plus 500 team. We were winning. We were going to win that game if the coaching never fell asleep behind the wheel. Meaning that we got to 3rd and 1 and they said, okay, let's run it again. Oh, it's 4th and 1. Let's run it again. You see, turnovers on down. We win that game if they allowed the Prescott kid to win us that particular game because he was moving the ball. They found the weak spots in the zone spots on that particular defense and they was eating them up. But the coaching got in the way. So that's 2 games right there, I'm saying, you see. And on top of that, the New England Patriots game, the phantom tripping calls. I think if the special team was a little bit better, I think that if we were not at the bottom end of the special team play, because we were ranked 31st or something like that, or 32nd in special teams, believe it or not, if you give us a little bit better special team play, shout out to you, skeptical fan. Really appreciate you for the donation to help grow the nation, man. Really appreciate you. Man, really appreciate you. But if you take back those tripping calls, that's 3 games right there. That's 3 games that I just told you guys what was winnable. But I don't want to keep this thing going back and forth about that, but going back to the nature at hand, here's the thing with Byron Jones. The narrative of the fact that he can't make plays is crazy. And on top of that, when you look at it and you think about it, if you got a cornerback that can take away that side of the field, regardless if he don't turn his head around for the ball, can you imagine and close your eyes and think what this team would look like if we had a dynamic safety? Not trying to sully or denigrate Xavier Woods, but Xavier Woods, as good as he is, he just didn't show up for certain plays, man. And he whiffed on a lot of tackles. He make that business decisions on a lot of tackles. Now he can hit you when you're not looking. That's Xavier Woods all day. So this new coaching staff, I don't know if they're going to have the same love affair. When Byron Jones leave, we overpay for Dak. If we lose out, I don't want to hear none of everybody complaining next year. This is from Rochelle. My thing is, here's the thing, and I'm gonna make sure I'm reading your comment correctly. We overpay for Dak if we lose out. My thing is, even if you look at the collective salary cap, and this is just numbers, and I'm not trying to say to people that paying Dak Prescott $40 million is an okay move. But even in that same breath that I'm telling everybody, I know numbers, and I know you guys know numbers too. We didn't use $27 million last season, right? So $27 million was just sitting back, sitting on reserve. We didn't use it. We didn't use $27 million. On top of that, we didn't use a Tyrone Crawford who counted $10 million against the salary cap. Let that sink into your mental. So that's $37 million that's sitting in reserve. $37 million. I say, you have enough money to pay people and still go throughout the season. I want people to get their feelings out of the situation and stop thinking like these teams are broke or these teams can't pay people. You know what? People do what they want to do. People would do what they want to do, and teams would do what they want to do. Even if you pay Dak Prescott $40 million, the salary cap then increased to $200 million out of a year. It's still enough money. On top of that, all that does is just reset the market, and Pat Mahomes look at it and say, okay, I want 45 or I want 47. 10 years from now, people will be laughing at, man, you paid this guy $40 million a year. So we got enough money. I already broke it down. Check out my previous video. We got enough money to pay Malik Collins. We got enough money to pay, actually, dare I say, a Byron Jones. You got enough money to pay Amari Cooper, and you got enough money to pay Dak Prescott. Because you can do this, sign, then extend, then you can also take and move over. This salary cap situation is an imaginary number. Put it like this. The Minnesota Vikings were over the cap all last season. Do you hear the NFL saying, hey, we want to close down your football operation for being over the cap? There's really no harsh punishment as it relates to being over the cap. I want people to understand that. But the media and the NFL total body of work, they will paint this picture and say, okay, you got to be under the cap. That's just a false narrative. All right, so the other topic at hand, before we go into other details of the conversation, I want to talk to you guys about Blake Jarwin. Do you guys really know of Blake Jarwin? Do you feel that he can play a full 16 weeks? Can he be that difference maker for this team? Or should Mike McCarthy look at this situation and say to themselves, maybe, just maybe, I can go out and find my own tight end? Or do you feel like we should get a tight end to complement Blake Jarwin? Because my thing is, we fool around and let Jason Witten come into the fold, and he slowed the process down for us doing a true evaluation of Blake Jarwin. Jason Witten came out of retirement and said, hey, I'm not going to take up a lot of snaps. This is not my team. Don't give me the C on the chest. I'm going to sit back, and whatever need to be done, I will do that. But looking at last season, looking at everything from A to Z, he didn't do that. He was not the guy that sat back and allowed Blake Jarwin to blossom. So we don't know what Blake Jarwin is. We don't know if he can play a complete 16 weeks. We don't know if the team's going to game plan against him. We just don't know. So are you guys 100% sold on Blake Jarwin? Because I know I am. I know I am. I believe Blake Jarwin can. I feel like he brings Witten back to slow his process down, but I agree we should add another tight end. Yeah, I agree with you. Akeem, what you saying here? We need to keep Blake Jarwin. Yes, however, what you're saying, however, I want to make sure I read it. However, we need to cut Schultz and get a tight end that can block. That is a good observation for the nation. I think that Schultz is a guy that's really not a difference maker, really not that much of an impact as it relates to blocking. And then if you think about McCarthy's scheme, it's not like you got to have those guys to block. You're going to have West Coast offense, meaning the ball is going to come out quick. There's already going to be some you know what I'm saying, some pre-designs out there to get your running back out in space. Also, you may see some looks where you will have a Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott out there at the same time. And on top of that, Tony Pollard may be flexed into being a flanker, maybe flexed to be an inside slot guy. So it's so many things, so many weapons that I think that Mike McCarthy is going to let Kellen Moore do his thing, but his influence is going to be into the mix. So I'm thinking that with this West Coast offense, with the implementations of Kellen Moore's system and scheme, I think that the blocking, the old, hey, we want this guy to block or what have you, may be gone and thrown out of the window. They still may get one of those versatile tight ends that can vertically stretch the field. That seems like McCarthy's MO there. So we will see a blocking tight end is what we need. This is gunplay. I feel what you're saying, but if you think about it, yes, the tight end is the extension of the offensive line, gunplay. But I also look at it with the West Coast offense. This offense is going to be real quick. It's going to be like a hurry up style of offense. And on top of that, yes, you want somebody to block, but when they go into their, I guess you would say 20 personnel look, or when they give us some flashes of 21 personnel, you may not get that much of a 12 personnel. You may not see that much of a 22 personnel. You may see only the packages that what these guys that can stretch the field look like in the middle, and then you'll see these out routes, so these quick bubble snaps out there on the edges, or smokes or drags. So I'm looking at it like this. As much as we hated last season, it was a blessing in disguise. Even when I first started off by saying the very winnable games, like the Minnesota Vikings game, the dare I say the Saints game. You can throw in the Jets game as it relates to the latter part of it, but we're just going to throw that under the water or under the bridge. And the other game as it relates to us, we could have won the Patriots game if they call it fair and balanced game. Now, one thing that I will say with McCarthy, we saw a little emotions from Jason Garrett, just a little, in one game when he threw the challenge flag back at the official and he got teed up for it. Well, he got a warning sign for it, basically. My thing is, I think that this new coaching staff would not be as docile. Not saying that docility is what Jason Garrett embodied, but he was more of, hey, we're going to go along with the flow situation. I'm looking at this particular new coaching staff, whereas they're going to bring in everything and they're going to challenge the authorities or challenge the opposition or challenge the officials, and they're going to really be in their face. And on top of that, I like the fact that when we was live, me, Jeff Kavanaugh, and Bobby Belt, and my guy, Big Game James, everything else remained the same. When we was on our live video, Jeff Kavanaugh was talking about the fact that this may be a time, hear me out, this may be a time whereas when we pull up the draft tape and these sort of things, you may not see Mike McCarthy in the draft room. Mike McCarthy literally saying, okay, I'm going to give you guys all of the decision makings as it relates to the draft. I'm going to sit back. I don't even know where to put my hands on the table, right? But Mike McCarthy is going to be a guy to allow those people to go out there and pick out the players or what have you, and he's just going to coach them up. To me personally, I thought about it. I scratched my head on it, and I said, man, you would want your coach to be in that room. Maybe he will be in the room, but as far as, I guess, negotiating and lobbying for players, maybe he won't do that as much. But I thought about it, and I said to myself, you know what? This would be a good deal. This would be a flat foot good deal because of the fact that Mike McCarthy, he's a coach's coach, and he trusts his contemporaries to make the right decision. And then on top of that, he probably would chastise them if they don't. So I like that aspect of it. And then on top of that, I do like the part where is we got all of these seasonal guys, these guys that been into the mix for been into the fold for long periods of time. And when now it's the free agency. When that thing open up, when do free agency officially open up? I think it's March the 10th, something like that, right? Is it March? When the official free agent open up, it's somewhere in March. You guys can help me out. Um, He says, why do our defense struggle on let me see, this is Rochelle. Why do our defense struggling on defending the screenplays? Okay, I will answer that. Yes, everybody says open-minded. He says, yep, and Akeem says yes, March 10th. Okay, so free agency open up in March. Okay, let me ask you this question. We're going to answer this question here. The reason why our defense were not good on screenplays, it was taught to those players to fly to the ball. It was taught to those players to it's one gap system as relates to the interior. So they shoot gap, get to the quarterback. By all means necessary, get to the quarterback. So they would rather hit the quarterback opposed to being patient enough to hit the guys on the edge because they're attack mode. They feel like if we can get to the quarterback and cause type of like reaping havoc out there, then we can get more turnovers and takeaways. That's the old philosophy. Now, when you look at this defense, it's all about, yes, you'll be fanned out more east, not more east and west, but yeah, more east and west, not north and south team. So we're going to be more of a fanning out type of defense. When you think of a two gap, when you think of somebody putting his hands in the dirt, his responsibilities when he hit the A gap is not just to shoot, but also to occupy the other guy beside him, you see. So when he shoot and when he sits into that gap, playing that technique of a two gap system, it's not by just getting and penetrating upfield. It's also taking on your extra block and then getting up and also being disciplined enough to watch the cutback. So it's different philosophy. I think that, yes, people look at a 3-4, 4-3 differently, but it's a difference on the edge guys as well, and difference on the edge guys playing their responsibility. Remember, football is still the same as 11 versus 11. Nothing changes. It's still 11 versus 11. And I think that instead of us penetrating north and south, we're now going to be more of an east and west using speed. And then maybe our guy is occupying the double A gap, or when you're talking about the B gap or what have you, or screaming around to see what you would see more as it relates to defensive wise is a blitzer coming and shooting up through there, or you would see a person delaying and dropping back into coverage, and you're sitting there like, man, I thought D-Law supposed to blitz off into the edge. This brother now dropping back in coverage. I don't know if he can do that, but D-Law said he's welcome to doing it. So I think that this first season, you may see a little hybrid looks. You may see on possible third downs situation that you only have 3 down linemen. And then on top of that, you probably see throughout the game, depending on what quarters, that you will see the 4 down linemen dissipate or disappear, and you see more of a 3 towards the latter part of the quarters. The thing is, the way I look at it, and I know I'm long-winded on this, but the way I look at it is that even when I want to say Rob Marinelli switched it up into you guys remember it was one game, I think it was against the Atlanta Falcons. I know it was against the Green Bay Packers one season that he gave everybody a 2-6 zone look. He only had 2 down linemen, and he had the other guys fanned it out or what have you, and he still was able to create pressure from that. You guys remember that look? And I sitting there like, man, that's a good look, because in the Atlanta game, he gave everybody a 2-6 down look, and I think Sean Lee was able to get home up the middle, and it confused the defense. So I love that type of thinking, although Papa Rob Marinelli didn't display that 2-6 down or 2-5 down look a lot. But I think that we still have guys that's athletic enough to get home. I saw somewhere that they wasn't going to keep Quinn. This is from Love and Aries. That is a situation and a possibility that Quinn may be gone, depending on what he asking for. They really want to keep him, but depending on what he asking for, you got to understand too, Cowboy Nation and beyond. Quinn is not a young kid, and he's what 30, maybe 31, could be 29. He's in that age where do you give him a 4-year deal or do you give him another rental? And it may just be too much money for a rental deal. So Quinn could be going to the Raiders. He'll turn 30 this year. Open mind. Really appreciate you. He's 29 going on 30. So it just depends. It just depends what team, how much money he's looking for. I think that Quinn got at least 3 or 4 more good years left in him. That's just me. I think that he got that much, left in him. But like I said, he came from the Miami Dolphins. They was in the 3-4, and from what I heard, that he didn't like the 3-4 responsibilities. When you think about his best years, even when he played for the Rams, when they was in St. Louis, he had over 20 sacks. It's 19 sacks, something like that, 19 something like that sacks. But it was a 3-4 defense, and he didn't like that. What's the difference between a 3-4 and the 4-3 defense? The 3-4, it required him to do more of stunt. It required him to do more of delay. It required him to set the edge, opposed to just getting upfield and shooting and getting to the quarterback. I believe that Robert Quinn is at this stage of his career that he just want to be a pass rushing specialist. A lot of times I look back at Robert Quinn, and I probably need to do a good little quick piece on that. He was good for us last season as relates to sacks. He had 11.5 sacks, but he was horrible for us against the run. I'm going to repeat. He was horrible for us against the run. I'm going to repeat one more time. He was horrible for us against the run. But I think that the 11.5 sacks is still something that I would like to have on the team. Do you guys disagree? I would want that. Yes, Crawford needs to go. This is from Josie. Yeah, I think it was Crawford. He's a tweener. Always been. I think that Crawford has been put into a situation where it's his talent. It was just like Byron Jones, multi-talented, but they couldn't figure out where we're going to keep him. Is he going to be an edge guy for 1 week? Is he going to penetrate and play inside? And I think that those two different type of positionings require a different type of level of weight. And every time Tyron Crawford, he was like, hey, I can do this or I can do that. And being the goody two guy, sometimes nice guys finish last. And that's just been the nature of, since Tyron Crawford been into the league. Very powerful, physical hand, good burst off the LOS, not a lot of bend, but being used in the wrong situation as relates to the Cowboys. I think that Crawford would have been wonderful, well in the New England system, or would have been wonderful or played well in a different system. Starboy _50, man, really appreciate you. Man, and imagine if we get Simmons and blitz him with Smith. Are you talking about free agency Simmons, or are you talking about Justin Simmons, or are you talking about the kid that played for Clemson, Simmons? Let me know, man. Post it down below. I hope that we use Ohio State Smith this year. This is Brian. I don't know, man. It's just the thing is, Isaiah Simmons. Okay, yeah, boy, you have to trade up to get Isaiah Simmons, though. See, my voice changed when you talk about Isaiah Simmons and Jeff Okudah. My voice changed. You see, you changed my voice now. It's just the reality of it, man. Boy, see, you changed my voice, man. See, Isaiah Simmons, he's going to be gone. There's no way he gets to fall to 17. You see, there's no way, man. You can't allow that brother to fall to 17. Don't you know what type of push-ups and backward flips I would do if we pick up Isaiah Simmons, knowing that he's versatile, but knowing that we try to terraform this particular defense, trying to change this out and change that out, and then you fool around and give us Isaiah Simmons. Woo! Boy, you had me getting up out of my seat, man. Gee, let me take a drink. Boy, for that Isaiah Simmons. When I look at his tape, all I can do is just sit back and say, there's no way Detroit Lions pass on him. There's no way the Giants. Don't you know the Giants have the ability to pick up Isaiah Simmons? They already got Leonard Williams inside. They got a Baker, DeAndre Baker, the cornerback on the other side, although he got burned by Amari Cooper. But man, that defense can look crazy, stupid good. But it's a story of a different day. You trade up and get him to play as safety. Starboy, I don't know, man. Thank you for the donation, man. Donation, really appreciate you, man. I don't know if we do that, though. I definitely don't know if we would trade up, use those type of resources to get them. I don't want them. I have Akuda Simmons. Shout out to Grand Prairie. Akuda, Jeff Okuda. But my thing is this draft, I think the way this draft is situated and the way this team is in need of star players that can take the ball away, I kid you not. There could be a scenario where if the tags are touching, you know, the tags are just touching, and they know for sure they got like 3 prospects that they have the tags are touching, and it's at the 17th pick, and somebody there, I say, want to play with them with the 20 pick or the 24 pick. I can really see this team gambling a little bit and moving back, moonwalking back just a little bit to get multiple picks in the second and being greedy in that aspect of it. Although I don't agree, but I can see them doing that this year, moving back just to get a couple more picks because they got so many tags that are touching, and I can see them doing that. I can. Although I will say, like I said, I don't agree with that. But I've seen some mock drafts out there. My guy, I forgot his name. He was on my Twitter. Cowboys going with CD Lamb, you know, at the 17th pick. And then in the second round, going with Cal Duger. I'm messing up this kid's name. And then getting up with the third round, getting Futu, you see. So and that draft wouldn't be bad as well. So there's so many things, so many ways that we can look at it. Come on, Brian. Come on. Don't mess up my day like that. Saying Cooper is soft. Come on, man. Come on, man. Cooper's not soft. Amari Cooper's not soft. He's not soft. Matter of circumstances. A matter of circumstances allowed Cooper to play the way he played. Can't wait for the draft. Yes, gun-slinging zombie. Guitar slinging. Yeah, shout out to you, man. Let me see if I say today right. Guitar slinging zombie killer. Yeah, appreciate you, man. I can't wait for the draft. I cannot wait for the draft. They need to stop playing with me and bring Dez back. This is Love and Aries. My thing is, Love and Aries, we all love Dez Bryant, the passion that he brings to the table. They won't know until after the draft, though, you know. But if the Cowboys decide to bring the brother back after the draft, he better be out there in Oxnard. That's all I can say. They better bring him out there in Oxnard. They better have him playing against multiple guys at the line, seeing how he's going to be able to pick up this particular offense. They better do that if they want to do that. Now, from a political move or political aspect of it, if they're trying to sell jerseys, they bet not. I bet not here week 3 of the preseason, Dez Bryant is suiting up and the Cowboys are now picking up Dez Bryant. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. They better bring the brother out there in Oxnard, for one, so I can come see him too. Because we need to see that moxie, that throwing up of the X and these sort of things. But we will see. Law, have you ever heard of a call 3-2-6 cover 2 zone for stopping the screen passes? 3-2 cover 6 zone will cloud the screen pass because you only got three down linemen, and then you have the two interior linebackers, and then you have everybody fanned out. So I think that will secure that screen pass, but you have to have a guy to be a disruptive. Your fourth side, he got to really take care of business. He can't just allow the person to catch the ball. I think before those screen passes develop, you still have to be physical. You have to blow up that lead blocker, and you can't just sit there and allow him to hit you first. And a lot of times, if you're overshooting, if you're not in the right spot, and if you stuck with a four down lineman, or you stuck with an extra guy inside, and that screen pass there, all it takes is one guy to miss. And if your safety is not cognitive enough, boy, he can take a lot of yards. So my thing is, we've been live for 30 minutes on my cell phone. Okay, let me see how much longer I can go. Big G, what's good with you, man? Shout out time, man. Y'all put down where y'all are from. Always representing, man. Always a lady. Really appreciate you. Put down where you guys are from, and are you team defense or you team offense? Let me know, and in the comment box too. I always love to hear that. And also hit that subscribe button. Hit me up on Facebook, Instagram. Hit me up on Twitter. Hit me up on Twitch. Hit me up on MySpace, Black Planet. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Texarkana. I can't read that. Texarkana. Is it Texarkana? Team defense, silver and blue. Shout out to you, man. That's my dogs right there, man. Silver and blue, man. Y'all check out his page. Follow Big Game James. Everything else remained the same. Columbus, Ohio. 318 Louisiana. That's what I'm talking about. Team D. Always a lady. That's what I'm talking about. Same place. Grand Prairie. That's what I'm talking about, Devin. Hey, if you know Akuda's people, hit me up, man. Maybe we can get him in just to talk some stuff, man. And we can only dream, right? What's up, man? Rhode Island, what's good with you, man? Thank you for tuning in. Who else? We got 120 people. I'm going to say like my granddaddy. 120 people in here. What's good with you guys, man? Thank those who donate. Gilmer, Texas, man. Really appreciate you, man. Love you, Brian, man. Man, love you too, man. I always love everybody, man. Yep, Texarkana. Y'all can tell I ain't from Texas, man. Central Texas 254. Anybody from the SIP, because I'm from Mississippi. Look, we got some crazy places in Mississippi. We got a place called Eupora, Mississippi. Look, in Louisiana, right across the street from where I'm from almost, we got a place called Waterproof. Waterproof, Louisiana. Yes, indeed. So, and I'm from a place called Natchez, Mississippi, man. Small town, everybody know you by your first and last name. Fort Worth in the house, Dallas, Texas, Rogan up. Yes, Reg, that's what I'm talking about, raising. Yes, Blake Jarwin is just a guy, just a jag. My thing is, I'm glad you steered me back to Blake Jarwin. My thing is with Blake Jarwin, we know for sure the guy's quick. We know he played wide receiver play in college. Probably played wide receiver in high school as well. So he got the dexterity. He can get skinny, get small. Eupora, Mississippi. Yes. Who this is my guy? Palamoon. Yes. Eupora. And we got a place called Houston, Mississippi, Cleveland, Mississippi, Palm Beach, Florida. So my thing is with Jarwin, I know that he can vertically stretch the middle of the field. I know for sure that if you put him in the offense long enough, you're going to get one of those linebackers up out of the paint. My thing is, I know for sure that there's not, out of 32 teams, or 31 teams that he's going to be up against, that there's going to be a consistent linebacker that can check him. I know for sure. There's not an Isaiah Simmons, a Jalen Smith on everybody's team. So when they pull up and they have that 8 and 9 man front, I want this offense to be creative enough to say, okay, with Jarwin, we're going to stretch the field. And also with our secondary tight end, he's going to stretch the field. No more of this bucket and hook route. No more of this wide option. You're going to run 3 yards in the middle of the field, sink your hips and curve and go left or right. No, I don't want that. I don't want it. I do not want it. I'm going to repeat. I do not want it. When they put that 8 and 9 man front, just like what we saw with the 12 personnel look, when when the Ravens were able to say, okay, you putting 12, 8, I'm saying 12, you putting 8 men in the box, you putting 9 men in the box. You think that's gonna slow down Lamar? We gonna have 2 tight ends of Mark Andrews as well as Hayden Hurst and the other kid, and we just gonna stretch this thing vertically. You pick the problem. They had Hollywood Brown, whatever the other kid name, that could take the top off the defense. They embrace that 8 and 9 man fronts. And then they sit there and say to themselves, you know what, we got to get out of this look. Not only the quarterback can run, but when we load up the box, these tight ends is taking it up the field. It was nothing creative about it that much, but the tight ends could fly, and it causes them to sit there and say, we can't keep that linebacker inside. We're going to have to bring in an extra safety. We're going to have to bring in an extra DB as it relates to cornerback because our linebackers are gassed right now. And that's what they did. It was like a track meet. So that's what the 12 personnel can do when you have tight ends that can fly. So can you close your eyes and imagine we let Blake Jarwin go? I'm just hypothetically speaking. And he goes over there to the Ravens land. Boy, it'll be a track meet. You see, oh my goodness. Because that's what I would like. Physical, tall tight ends that can catch those vertical seam routes. We need to stop BSing and snag another Antonio Brown or the Thaddeus Moss. Yeah, put Dez at tight end. This is from Brian Lindsay. I don't know. Drew, what's good? Uncle Drew, what's good? I have to say this with Drew and his Eagles. Goddard is a bad kid. Ertz is a bad kid that they do those vertical stretch concepts. I'm going to repeat. Goddard is a bad kid out there, and Ertz is a bad kid that they do those vertical concepts with their tight end. And they can kill teams with the vertical in the middle of the field. It proved to everybody that when the Eagles played the Cowboys and they won, it showed that their tight end play, vertically stretched in the middle of the field, they can isolate the linebackers, forces you to have those mismatches, and they can kill you that way. The wide receiver play, the Walmart All-Stars, the reason why they beat us because they utilized the middle of the field, and all it took for Carson Wentz to connect with the Ward kid, number 84, whatever his name is, once or twice. And on top of that, by them killing us, look, I kid you not, by them killing us from the middle of the field so much, it was a mismatch because they rotated number 84 to the outside and left 84, whatever his name is, the Walmart All-Star kid, with a linebacker on a wheel route. That's what it's about. It's not about. People think that you need a TO in every position. People think that you need a Michael Irvin in every position. No, it's about X's and O's. And when you can have, dare I say, a chess match out there, playing against somebody who's still with the checkers mindset, you will eat them alive. So I want mismatches. That's what I live for. If I'm out there on the offensive side of the ball, I want my tight end to vertically stretch the field enough against your linebacker. I want to confuse their defense so much that all of a sudden you leaving your linebacker on my wide receiver. That's what I want. I want these matchups to look like when you have Ezekiel Elliott out there, when you in that 8 and 9 man front. Also, when I bring in my 22 personnel, or when I bring in my 20 personnel, that's a better way to say it, I have Ezekiel Elliott out there. Yes, I don't have no tight ends on the field, but I have a Tony Pollard. There's automatic mismatch because it's Tony Pollard versus a linebacker. I want them to be so focused in on trying to stop Ezekiel Elliott. On top of that, I got my linebacker out there. Spying in on Tony Pollard, knowing that I'm finna wheel route Tony, knowing that I'm finna vertically stretch the field in the middle of the field with Tony. We have not seen that all last season. We didn't. Because they refuse, I'm gonna say this again, they refuse to take Jason Witten off the field. They refuse. And I'm not trying to hate at Jason, But let me know what type of combination that you guys would have came up with if you just take Jason Witten off the field. I don't care about Jason Witten blocking anybody. I don't care about him whiffing on his blocks anyway, because he didn't obtain his blocking like the people thought. Oh my goodness, boy. That Dez was a tight end would be held to cover. Wouldn't be held to cover. Okay. We shouldn't get rid of him though. He's better than Cheeto and AB. You talking about Byron Jones. My thing is Cheeto will be tested this offseason. He will be tested this offseason. Our version of AB, Anthony Brown, he will be tested this offseason. They got to pick up new systems, and everybody knows when you have a new coach out there, a different coach to approach this game, we do know for sure that the love affair for dare I say, I'm gonna say this again, for dare I say that said player, it's not there. Because they're gonna look at it and they're gonna look at it from a different lens. They're gonna look at the negative, every negative thing that he do, they're gonna be sitting there like, man, I know my guy that I picked up when I was in Green Bay would have been there. Come on, man. Let's make that phone call. And then the Minnesota coach, hey, I know my guy that I coached up. He's on the practice squad right now for the Minnesota Vikings. He know this system. I'm gonna give him a call tomorrow. You know, I'm tired of us getting burned. Why not go cut the Reds? Why not he got cut by the Reds? Cause y'all talk about Josh Norman? I don't know about Josh Norman. Vernon Hargraves, he's a sticky guy. I like Vernon, but Hargraves, man, I don't know, man. He disappeared in Buccaneers land, man. But I don't know what else to say about that, Cowboy Nation. But he would be an option. Slay will be one hell of an option. Quentin Sanders. Slay will be one hell of an option. Norman is toast, yeah. Norman is all bite. Norman will probably bring in the wrong combination of attitudes on our team as well. Look, it's one thing to have talk that noise and you back it up with your actions, but to talk your noise and you don't back it up with your actions, we don't want that. Can we still get Jamal Adams, DJ Cobbs? My thing is with Jamal Adams, I think that he read the Earl Thomas manual on how to get more money or how to have your organization to really buy in and sell in, to be bought in on you. And leverage everything you say with the Dallas Cowboys. If I was a young player, I'd say, yeah, I want to go to the Cowboys because I know for sure I'm going to make the headlines. It's going to hit ESPN Airways. It's going to hit NFL Network. It's going to hit all of those platforms out there. Let me give you guys this thing right here. Shout out to you, Randy, man. Tag him. When people make the donation to help grow the nation, I got to stop what I'm doing. You know, he says, tag Amari and transition Byron and draft a defensive line. Okay, I'm going to answer that. But if I'm a defensive player, I'm going to always bring up the Cowboys. All right, so he says tag Amari, put the transition deal on Byron Jones, and draft the defensive lineman. Randy, is that an exclusive tag for Amari or a non-exclusive tag for Amari? And I think the non-exclusive tag for Amari would be 13 to 14 million. Exclusive tag for Amari would be right at 19 million. This is an exclusive. Okay, so it's 19 million. A team will have to give you 2 first-round draft picks for him. And on top of that, they would have to take over his contract for the exclusive tag. Now, for the non-exclusive, this is what you would do. And trust me, I'm speaking only from the lenses of me being Amari Cooper homer. I love Amari Cooper. I love him. I would love for Amari Cooper to stay with the Cowboys. I mean, for him to put the team on his back, to play with that plantar fasciitis all last season too. I mean, you can't hate the guy. And then on top of that, knowing that he won't beat up a girl in a hotel, knowing that he won't steal something from Walmart and pay less. I just love that aspect of it. And knowing that he don't talk that much. He don't give nobody longitude and latitude to speak about it. And on top of that, I got to use my brother from another mother, Botch Lombardi. He won't have the gun under the seat type of situation. Botch Lombardi is my brother, man. Um, but then Marvin Harris did shoot up somebody. They was the same type of person, but it's a story of a different day. I would actually put the non-exclusive franchise tag on Amari Cooper, and here's why. I would want to see if there would be a team to match the offer straight up, you see. So I would try to put the non-exclusive tag on Amari Cooper. I would not put the exclusive tag on Amari Cooper for those reasonings. Because I know for sure, with just my knowledge of it, is that he was on the market and nobody gave one first round pick for him outside of the Cowboys. I do know that the Eagles were willing to give up a late second round draft pick. I think somebody else put in a third, but I would just put him out there as a non-exclusive and see if there's a team that's going to say, okay, I'll pick up your contract. I wouldn't do the exclusive. Now, as far as the transition tag because you can do it since we are in the CBA year for Byron Jones, that could happen. A team give you a straight up first and take over his contract, but it won't happen. I don't think the Broncos are very interested in him. But my thing is, remember the old saying, it's hard to sell something that they know that you're going to get rid of them anyway, and they would rather sit back and wait. This is the saying. It's always better to sell or trade a person 2 years before their prime is up or 2 years before you let them go versus holding on to them 2 years too late. You want to be able to wheel and deal and get something in return from your players. And what the Cowboys been doing for the last 25 years or so, is that we hold on to our players. We just hold on to them. I'm hold on to them like this omega-3, 6-9. Let's keep your beard going, keep your beard oil, keep your beard growing, omega-3, 6-9. But I'm gonna just hold on to this. And I coddle it, and I don't want to let it go. This is what our Cowboys been doing for many of years. It's hard for us to let our players go. We rub it. We make love to that fact that this person is forever going to be with the Cowboys. And that's been our problem. Jerry Jones, he loved his players. Jerry Jones has loved his players, man. And it's hard for him to will and deal. If the Cowboys were to get rid of Byron Jones, they supposed to put him on the market last year. If they wanted to get rid of Amari Cooper, they should have shopped him after the last season. They should have said, hey, we got this guy. He came onto the team. And before this season started, they should have shopped Amari Cooper around. They should have figured out a way to say, hey, we're going to get rid of him. I heard Ruggs is going to run a 4.2. That bro run a 4.2. I don't think that he's going to make it past the Raiders. Somebody's going to pick him up. Real question, are the Cowboys closer than 8-8 in the playoff with the new coaching staff? This is from Uncle Drew. I don't see the Cowboys, man, being 8-8. Objectively speaking, at that, too. Good question, but objectively speaking, I just don't see us making the boneheaded decisions that we did in the past. I think that we are more of a prepared team. Remember, it's better to be prepared for an opportunity and not have one than to have an opportunity and not be prepared. Law, this is a king. But when the players aren't playing right, guess what? There's the door. Well, yeah, they did it. They did it with Taco. They gave Taco the door. They gave DeMarco Murray the door. They gave Dez Bryant the door. Who else they gave the door to? They gave Cole Beasley the door. They gave Martellus Bennett the door. And what I'm saying is, when they gave the door, they didn't get nothing in return for those player skill sets. They didn't move on from that player too soon. They just hold on to him. Anthony Hitchens got the door. Wilson got the door. You see, we hold on to him and we don't get nothing in return. I think Judy is going to be one of those that slide. Could be. Romo got the door. They kicked Romo out, man. They squeezed Romo. They didn't give him the door. They squeezed him, man. Cowboys going 10-6. They gave Ware the door. They gave up on Ware, man. They gave up on Ware. They thought that his neck was done. No comp picks. I think we should get comp. I think we should get a comp for Cole Beasley. We'll know when they come out with the comp news. Let me know, Cowboy Nation. We should get some comp pick. Gave Jason the door. No, they kept it. They gave Jason Witten. You talking about Jason Garrett or Jason Witten? 51 minutes, Cowboy Nation. Got a couple more seconds, man. Come on. Jarwin will be a starter already if Witten wasn't here. Yes, Cobb signed another 1-year contract due to McCarthy. That would be nice, Randy. Ruggs have a game-changer speed. Jalen got a game-changing speed. Is it? How you say Jalen's last name? Boy, I need to go to speech class so I can help myself out with these last names. From TCU. Y'all put it in the comment box. I know you're Regar, or Regar. Jalen, he's a fast guy. Jalen Ragar. Appreciate you, Devin. See, look, man, the nation always help a brother out. Yeah. Sean Lee, they keeping the door for Sean Lee. And Jason Witten, they only ajarred the door. So Jalen may run a 4-2. What will happen then? And he can give you some special team play. But my thing is with Jalen, he got the quickness, that subtle speed, but I don't know whether or not Jalen Regar speed is going to translate to the NFL because we've been seeing this type of stuff. But he can probably get into the NFL and be, it's like, help me out, Cowboy Nation, help me out. It's like, is it Mecole Hardman that plays for the Kansas City Chiefs? Is it Mecole? Help me out. I only got a few more minutes, but is it Mecole? Yes. Okay, that's his name. He's fast, right? He's fast, but he's not like the Tyreek Hill fast. You see, Mecole Hardman is very, very fast. But when you look at the tape, it's like Tyreek Hill was created in a lab. The Tyreek Cohen kid, he's fast too. Tyreek Hill and the Tyreek Cohen that play for, I think I'm saying this kid name right, for the Chicago Bears, they got that subtle quickness speed that when you look at it like on the tape, it's like he's faster than everybody else. But Jalen Reagor got that Mecole Hardman speed, you see. It's like he's quick, but he's not as quick as Tyreek. And I could be 1,000,000% wrong. He could be like, you know, the fastest guy on the planet Earth almost. But when I look at this kid that played for the Henry Ruggs, he does give me some of that Tyreek flash, that nimble, quick. All of a sudden you look up, he's down the field type of speed. So I don't know how this stuff is going to translate. We was fooled with John Ross. He had all of the speed in the world. But it's more of the Mecole type of speed. Check out Benjamin Victor, Ohio State, 6'4" wide receiver. I'm going to check him out. Tyreek ran a 4.21. Yeah, Devin Frost, that kid that just put down a controller fast, and you sit there and say, man, oh, man. He seems like he's a beast. Ross couldn't stay healthy. This is from Cal. Yeah, I agree. It's kind of like this, and for anybody that love the Redskins, remember Darryl Green? He was fast. He's fast. But Deion Sanders was like quicker, you know, if I could put those in those terms. But Darrell Green is fast, no disrespect to his speed. But Deion Sanders was just quickie, you know, quick, fast with it. That, you know what, I'm probably misdiagnosing it. It's like that stop, stutter, go, I'm gone. Miss you, I'll see you tomorrow type of speed. Deion has more graceful speed. Yes, and laugh aloud. And Rod Wilson was fast. Remember Rod Wilson back in the days? He was fast. Yes, Green NFL fastest man for 2 years. Yeah, Law 20 personnel is more of a run offense than a pass offense. Am I right? 20 personnel. If you think of the two, the number up front is how many running backs you will have, and the zero is zero. Really, so I would say a 20 personnel is more of a passing attack. Now, when you say 21, that's two running backs, one tight end. If you say 22, that's two tight ends and two running backs. If you say 23, you know good and well they finna run that rock. Cause that's two running backs and three tight ends. And every time you put a tight end out there, you have to remove one of your wide receivers. So that's why I think that a 20 personnel is more of a passing offense or more of a passing personnel opposed to a running personnel because you don't have that many big bodies. Law, about Hollywood Henderson, whoa baby, yeah. Yeah, Hollywood, Hollywood was the guy, number 56, right? Law, I would like to see us run a 4-6 defensive scheme. 4-6 defensive scheme. I think we ran some variations of 4-6 defensive scheme last season, believe it or not. But Cowboy Nation, I done talked long enough. My battery is going down on my phone. I try to squeeze out as much as I can. Don't forget to hit that like button, share this content. Let that friend, neighbor, foe know where to go. Jarwin is 6 foot fast, and he needs to start. Yes, you're right. You're right, David Johnson. Yes, 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 yes. Don't forget, Cowboy Nation, share this thing. Sharing is caring. And Natasha, really appreciate you with the flames. And she's giving us the flames. Yes, 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 yes. And thank those who donated. Thank those who just subscribed to this channel. And on top of that, let's continue to grind, Cowboy Nation. That's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Let's go. Boy, when he said Isaiah Simmons. Remember, corn huskers oil. Y'all see it right here, corn huskers oil, you know. Yeah, make that beard soft, man. I'm telling you guys. Rub it in like that. Yeah. Let's go. Make the beard soft. And a couple of weeks ago, I couldn't do this, but now guess what? I can hold a pick now. That beard game is back, baby. We out. Peace.